Good evening, everybody. I'm the Technical Critic, and today I will be looking at Legend of Korra, Season 2, Episode 3. And here I was thinking it was gonna get better. Oh, great. Those other Legend of Korra writers clearly left their stamp. So, we have troops marching through the city. We have a blockade being put on the port. And for some reason, it seems that everybody around Korra, with the exception of Korra, recognizes that there is a military coup going on. When he says, when her uncle goes ahead and says, oh, by the way, when you open the spirit portal in the north, we'll be able to transport spirits and men in seconds. Let me get this straight. You filled our city with troops, and now you want to open another portal so that you can transport the rest of your army here even faster? And on top of that, you've deposed your brother as the chief of the water tribe, which we found out in exactly one sentence. It's like, oh, by the way, Tarlok is no longer chief of the Southern Water Tribe. Okay. Oh, and by the way, I'm stopping all ships coming in and going out with the exception of my warships. Okay. This doesn't scream, oh, by the way, I'm preparing to take over your city. Plus, you've got the soldiers acting like freaking Nazis. I mean, you know that they're the bad guys when children get in trouble. And that being said, children should not be throwing things at soldiers. But as a soldier, you shouldn't see that as a threat. Warn them, tell them not to do it, and then walk away. Those are what good soldiers who are there to preserve order do. They're acting like the SS. Seriously. And then to cap it off, we go over to Tenzin's story, and he's nice and he's relaxed and he's peaceful, and then we start to get. Allow me to explain. Between Avatar Airbender and Avatar Korra, there are several series of graphic novels written, which are supposed to be the abridging entries between that Avatar universe and this Avatar universe. The problem is, the conflicts that are being brought up, people who haven't seen all of that stuff that happened are not going to understand all of this stuff that's happening. I mean, you get the conflict with the brother and the sister and Tenzin, with the Bumikai and Tenzin. And it literally descends out of nowhere. What? At a time when they should be searching for the lost kid, suddenly they all break out. Suddenly they've all just completely forgotten their goal, and they break out into an argument. And I honestly thought that the Legend of Korra was starting to get better. We saw episode 1, that was great. We saw episode 2, a little bit rushed, but getting better. Episode 3, the plot completely collapses. I mean, we get the uncle as a completely two-dimensional bad guy. Korra's always been a little dense. I mean, we do get a lot of exposition. We understand Korra. She never wanted to be normal. She just wants to be the Avatar. But I get the feeling she doesn't even know what it means to be the Avatar. It's like me trying to say I want to be the Chancellor of Germany. I have no idea what being the Chancellor of Germany even entails. But if I want to be that so badly, I should just be allowed to do it. It doesn't. I guess it's trying to show her thinking as a teenager. She wants to be all of these things, even though she doesn't understand what it means to be these things. But even so, I don't. I feel. I feel that they're flattening the plot for the sake of running through it. And this is the same problem that Korra season 1 faced. They flattened the plot and they just simplified and compressed it to the point where it didn't make sense anymore, and they're doing that. But other than that, the show is really good. The animations, where you get to see overlooking the city, and you get just a sheer scale of size, and all of the wonderful effects that they're doing, and all the fight scenes, those are all wonderful. Bolin is starting to finally develop as a character. I honestly thought that they were just turning him into that slapstick guy in episode 1 and episode 2. Episode 2 he developed a little bit, but now you're finally getting to see his personality. His personality is finally starting to come out, where he no longer he finds himself in this situation that he just does not want to be in. He's not the pushover slapstick guy that he was being portrayed as. Oh, and he is just hysterical. I laughed throughout this entire thing. But how does my main thing is, how does Korra not see what's going on right in front of her? I mean, most people understand. At least can read. You know what? Something is not right. I mean, it took right at the very end for the uncle to break down the door and basically be going, "Listen, you're under arrest." And now I think Korra is finally going to get it, that, you know what? He is not what he says he is. This is not the black and white picture that he's painting. I think that I honestly think there's a lot more going on here, and that she's going to be forced to choose a side as the Avatar. I mean, even him telling her, "You have to stay neutral." By the way, it reminds me of what Hitler was telling Britain when he invaded Britain and France when he invaded Poland. "Oh, don't worry about it. Stay neutral. This is none of your concern. This is our business we're taking care of." What did they do? Nope. Kick out Neville Chamberlain, in comes Winston Churchill. "We will fight you on the beaches." This is exactly what I think has to happen. I honestly thought we were going to see more of a development of Korra's character as a spiritual person. And here's what I thought, and here's what I think is going to happen. With the end of episode 2, as I mentioned, it looked like it's going to be religion, a battle of religion and tradition versus free thinking and free will. And as I said, that is a very heavy topic to try and pull off, especially in a show that's meant to entertain teenagers, and especially in a show that is essential. How should I put this? It's essentially trying to be entertaining while being interesting at the same time. But this in particular is a very heavy subject. It's a very complex subject, especially when you're dealing with society and secularism and all those other things like I mentioned. And they're going to have to do some really spectacular gymnastics in order to pull this off. And I don't see it happening unless the next episode does a complete 180 and we stop with this sibling rivalry that's happening off screen, and we really see people come together, and we really see the plot start to delve into a lot of tension and start to deconstruct these issues. Because other than that, it's just going to be more rushed, more bland, and it's just going to be something to laugh at. I laughed through all of Korra season 1. Don't get me wrong. Some of the jokes were very funny, and I laughed at a lot of the situational humor. But that does not mean that I think it's good. I mean, I laughed at a lot of stuff in The Cat in the Hat. It doesn't mean that I thought it was good. I just laughed at it. Please don't disappoint me, guys. this is all I have to say. I'll see you for the next review. I'll see you for the next review.